on the Clara Luper radio show. And I'll be back in just a minute with the rest of the news. Today's program is being made possible by Enterprise Square Place, where you can save money, gasoline, and time at Enterprise Square Place. Oh, what a deal you will be glad you did when you go to 4901 North Martin Luther King Avenue. It's called Enterprise Square Place. It's first class, and you are safe at last at Enterprise Square Place. You can pay your utility bills. You can take advantage of a bona fide United States Post Office. And you can go to Sherry's Cleaners. Sherry's Cleaners located at 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue. A place where you can put your clothes in and pick them up the same day. All at Sherry's Cleaners here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now remember, Sherry's Cleaners, owned by Carlos Williams, a professional. Not only is he trained, he has the necessary experience. Number one, Sherry's number one is located at 4905 North Martin Luther King. Sherry's number two is located at Langston University in Langston, Oklahoma. If it's clothes that we are talking about, if it's laundry we are talking about, go to Sherry's Cleaners here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. A few minutes ago, I left a scene where people were standing in the streets, some with tears in their eyes and others shocked. Because this morning, the nephew of one of our senior citizens went over to take care of his relative. And when he arrived, he found out that the door had been kicked and his relative was on the floor in the front room, dead. Some say that she had been raped and killed. The news people, the police department, and the people are standing in the street. The address is 1600 Northeast 21st Street. According to the reports that I have gotten, there lived a senior citizen, namely Mrs. Lula Mae Brooks, who had lived there for years and years and who had certainly been a great neighbor. But today, she's dead. Mrs. Lula Mae Brooks was well taken care of by her relatives, who visited her once and twice a day. And this morning, her nephew, James Brown, came over to feed her. There were conversations with her last night before 9 o'clock. But today, she is dead. On the floor in the living room, as those in the medical field and police officers and detectives are trying to find out what happened. Somewhere in Oklahoma City today, there is someone that knows what happened to Mrs. Lula Mae Brooks, living in her own home, 1600 Northeast 21st Street. And now her body is covered up as detectives, policemen, medical examiners, and others stand around. What can you say? What can you say at a moment like this? This is the Clara Luper radio show. And today's show is being made possible because of Burger Brothers, located at 412 South Harvey in Oklahoma City. Calvin, what are the specials?
Mom, great things are happening at Burger Brothers, located there at 412 South Harvey Street it is, with a phone number 232-7511. And especially in the meat department, because today they have pork steak at only 99 cents a pound. They have a half a pork loin that's sliced already. That's $1.48 a pound, with pork spare ribs, $1.59 a pound. Corn King bacon, that crispy Corn King bacon, it's available for only $1.19 a pound. And then also there's the TV brand bacon hens great bacon hens for those of you that love the taste of those tender, juicy bacon hens that are only available at Burger Brothers. They're available for only 69 cents a pound. But more important than that, for us hot dog freaks, those hot dog people that love hot dogs, this is without the chili, but you can get some Rodeo Franks at Burger Brothers. It's for only 69 cents for a 12-ounce package. That's at Burger Brothers, your favorite grocery. They have a special brand of bread there that I know that all of you out there that listen to the Clara Luper radio show are worried about, and that is they have rainbow bread at Burger Brothers, located at 719 South Harvey. That phone number is 232-7511. The best buys are available not only in the meat department, but also all over the entire store of the Burger Brothers. But today's Clara Luper show is being brought to you by Burger Brothers. We invite you, when you get there to the checkout stand, to make sure that you say, I heard about the special buys that you have here. And thank you, Clara Luper, for advertising, where we can save our money and get the best and the most for our dollar. Exciting things happen in Oklahoma City, and we promise you that you will hear about it here. We look forward to the rest of today's show because we will be commenting on several things that have happened in our community of late, certain things that we know that you're just waiting out there to listen. So sit back, relax, call a friend, and invite them to be a part of today's radio show. KBYE 890 on your dial. Make sure you tell your friend that when you call them. But don't forget, Burger Brothers, 717 South Walker. That phone number, 232-7511. Special buys in the meat department, but special buys throughout the entire store.
So many times we have an idea, and we would like to share it with you, and probably you have noticed that the tone of my show has changed today because certainly we become so emotionally involved with our senior citizens. In place of trying to destroy senior citizens, we should be thanking God for our senior citizens. And I would like now to make a special appeal. Please, please, please don't destroy our senior citizens. Once you destroy the backbone of a people, you have nothing left. And once again, has been a murder in the northeast part of Oklahoma City. Mrs. Lula Mae Brooks lived at 1600 Northeast 21st Street, and they are all there now. The police officers, detectives, neighbors, and people that are just passing by are standing in amazement. You can see the hurt on the faces of the people. And certainly today, we would like to make an appeal on behalf of the senior citizens and all citizens. Sometimes, and somebody wrote, we have met the enemy, and they are us. How long, oh God, will people destroy our senior citizens? How long will we kill each other without knowing that we must live together as brothers? We're going to have a great surprise for everybody in Oklahoma City because on January the 31st at 10:40 a.m., the Connection of President will speak. Mrs. Dolores L. Kennedy Williams, Connectional President of the Women's Missionary Society of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, will be the morning speaker on January the 31st at 10:45 a.m. She will speak at the First AME Church in Oklahoma City. The connectional theme is Empowered by Christ for Change. Mrs. Williams is nationally known. She was elected president and chief executive officers of the Quadrennial Convention of the Women's Missionary Society of the African Methodist Episcopal Church in 1987. The African Methodist Episcopal Church is the oldest organized black church in America. Mrs. Williams has been applauded as one of the outstanding missionary workers, and she comes to Oklahoma City with a spiritual, educational background. She is a wife of the Reverend Leonard N. Williams Sr., who pastors the Allen Chapel AME Church in Indianapolis, Indiana. She was educated in the Detroit public school system. She She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in management from Marion College. She attended Wilberforce University, Indiana University, and Purdue University. She has the training that we need in Oklahoma City. Trained in public relations, journalism, and communication. And then she's a mother, the mother of 5 children. The Lucy M. Hughes Missionary Society of the First AME Church will sponsor a Get Acquainted banquet to present to Mrs. Williams at the Lincoln Plaza Congress Room on Saturday, January 30th at 6:30 p.m. The public is cordially invited to attend. This will be the first time Mrs. Williams has ever come to Oklahoma City. It is the first time that the Lucy M. Hughes Missionary Society has sponsored a connectional national office to speak for a 5th Sunday missionary program. I know you will need more information, but what I would like for you to do is to call 424-4721 or 528-5542. That is Sunday, put it on your calendar, January the 30th. Sunday, and I want to make sure that I'm right about this. It will be Sunday, January the 31st. She will speak at the morning service at 10:45 a.m. One thing that I want you to know, today, our hearts are heavy here at KBYE, and certainly we express our sympathy to all. We are going to do the funeral and death announcements at this time because we do have some very distinguished guests that are with us today. From Roth's Funeral Home comes these death announcements. Funeral services are now being held for Mr. Ralph E. Lipscott at the Greater Shiloh Baptist Church here in Oklahoma City. Services for Mr. Charles J. Hawkins will be at 11 a.m. Monday at the Fairview Baptist Church. Those are announcements from Roth's Funeral Home. Death struck the 5th Street Baptist family again. Mrs. Lily B. Robertson, a dedicated member of the 5th Street Baptist Church, is dead. Funeral services will be held Wednesday at 1 p.m. at the 5th Street Baptist Church. Lily Bell Robertson, a soloist in the choir for years. I shall fly away, she used to remind us in her beautiful voice. Lily B. Robertson, a missionary, a dedicated worker. Funeral services Wednesday at 1 p.m. There's a vacant choir seat at 5th Street Baptist Church that will never be filled with a voice like that of Lily Bell Robertson. Funeral services will be held Tuesday at 11 a.m. For another one of God's great angels, Juanita Gentry. Juanita Gentry, who lived at 921 Northeast 21st Street, passed, and her funeral will be held at 11 a.m. at the Allen Chapel AME Church. We extend our sympathy to all of the families. What's happening on Martin Luther King Day? I've been invited to participate in the Martin Luther King Day celebration in Marshall, Texas, where they are having a big parade, and the parade is supposed to be the largest parade that's ever been held. Hundreds of people have paid to be in the parade in Marshall, Texas. There will be a big banquet in memory of Martin Luther King. But what is happening here in Oklahoma City? At the St. John's Baptist Church now, Evelyn Pittman is presenting the Freedom Child. It will be presented again this evening at 7:30 p.m. Reverend Ralph Abernathy will be present. On tomorrow at the St. John's Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, Reverend Abernathy will speak at 3 p.m. you are invited to attend. Now, to find out what's happening on Monday, let me talk to Mr. Leslie Brown. Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
What's happening on Monday?
Well, first let me say, Miss Luper, I appreciate you calling me. I was unable to get those people that you wanted to talk to.
Oh, I always want to talk to
have
you.
The information.
I always want to talk to you, so just tell me about it.
I know you do. At 10 o'clock, we will meet at Ralph Ellison Library Monday morning. And
Wait a minute. I want to be sure about the time now.
We will meet, I understand. I mean, I want you to understand. We will meet at Ralph Ellison Library at 10 o'clock.
Well, I don't know where Ralph Ellison's library is.
At Martin Luther King and Northeast 23rd.
All right, that's at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock.
Okay.
We will assemble the group there and march to the state capitol.
And we will march to the state capitol. Okay.
And we will proceed inside of the state capitol to the second floor rotunda.
Second floor.
That's right.
Right.
And there where it will be an elaborate program.
And when you say elaborate program, what are you talking about?
I mean, there will be 2 addresses. One by ex-Senator E. Melvin Porter.
Don't call him ex-senator because he will always be my senator. He was our first senator in the state of Oklahoma of color.
I support you, Miss Luper.
Okay.
100%. And George Mills, the president of the Urban League.
George Mims, the president of the Urban League, will speak at what time?
That will begin at 11:15.
At 11:15.
Yes.
Now, who will speak first? Senator Porter?
Senator Porter will speak first.
All right, and then you have the NACP and the Urban League. I would like to congratulate you because so many times in planning programs, people forget the ship that has landed them. And I would like, as we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday, I would like to remind everyone that while Martin Luther King was marching, the NACP was marching to the Supreme Court, and it was the Supreme Court of the United States that handed down a decision in 1955 that eliminated segregation.
All right. Let me make this statement. The activities at 10 o'clock until they're over at the Capitol will be under the auspices of the NAACP, the AFL-CIO, A. Philip Randolph Institute, the local chapter of Christians and Jews, National Association of Black Social Workers, and the Urban League.
Did you mention the NAACP? Wait, just a minute. Did you mention the NAACP Youth Council?
NAACP Youth. Well, when I said NAACP, I should individually mention them, but I didn't.
Okay.
But the NAACP Youth Council certainly was a part of these activities since the beginning of our fight to make Eastern Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Okay.
And that has been going on, Miss Luper. This is the 8th year that we have met at the Capitol. We didn't just start the meeting yesterday, and all these organizations that I just named has been actively there every year fighting for the Martin Luther King Boulevard first, and then for the activities of his birthday becoming legal in this state.
Okay, well, I understand that you understand what the school system cares about Martin Luther King's birthday. The students are out, but they have a very intensive program planned for the teachers. And it's not one subject on that program that relates to Martin Luther King. Do you think it's a conspiracy to to take away from the minds of the teachers in Oklahoma City the importance of Martin Luther King's birthday?
No, Miss Luper, that is what you call business as usual. That has been going on since day one. And it's been such people as yourself and other leaders in the community that has brought us thus far. And it also should prove to our people on the east side that there's a whole lot of work to do still. We cannot stop here.
Well, there were a large number of black teachers that were discussing it. Maybe the Board of Education will have their bodies, but not their minds.
Well, hopefully.
Their minds will be with people that will be marching all over this country.
You see, Miss Luper, you has preached and shouted excellence. But I hate to make this statement, but there's a whole lot of our people don't know what excellence means. Excellence simply means that we do the best we can in every respect, and that includes creating a climate on the east side for our children to grow up in.
Okay, now I'm talking about a school system where we have put uniformed policemen in the schools.
Yes.
And here's an opportunity to talk about nonviolence, to talk about the American dream, and we are talking about a subject that's so unrelated until it's unbelievable. And I know a lot of the teachers out there will go and tell Dr. Stella, teachers, you don't have to tell him because he already knows how Clara Luper feels. And whether I get fired or not, it doesn't make any difference now. Because I know one thing, God takes care of the birds and the bees, and he will certainly take care of me. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. This program is being made possible by Allstate Insurance Company. When you think of insurance, Shelley is here to tell you what you should think about.
Call Merlin Hildreth. Merlin sells home insurance, life insurance, and car insurance. You can contact Merlin by calling 848-7470 or 427-8399.
Dr. A.L. Dow would like to send Martin Luther King's Day greetings to all of you. Dr. A.L. Dow is located at 934 Northeast 8th Street here in Oklahoma City. If you would like to call for an appointment, the telephone number is 235-0536. Dr. A.L. Dow, who understands Martin Luther King's Day and what it means, a fighter. And every time I see an integrated student in the Oklahoma City school system, I would like to tell that student, don't forget, Dr. A.L. Dow has made it possible. That's Dr. A.L. Dow, located at 934 Northeast 8th Street here in Oklahoma City. It's time to play bingo at the Economy Bingo House, 3633 North Everett Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Calvin, what are we talking about? Martin Luther King Day celebration all across the country and the world, and it's dedicated to that great American, that great patriot.
Mom, you know, we have a lot to be thankful about, not only because Martin Luther King lived, but because we had an opportunity to live during his lifetime. Many of the ideas, many of the dreams that he has done so much, I think, to make 1988 a much better year, to make 1987 the type year that we all could be proud of. And I know that there are thousands of us out there who listened to the words of Martin Luther King, who dreamed the dream, shared the dream that he had, who believed in the ideas of hamburger, of equal rights in the schools, an opportunity to improve myself, an opportunity to be myself, and just an opportunity to do the very best that I can, no matter what color I am, whether I be black, white, green, or yellow. And I think Martin Luther King's dream lives on in many different ways, even though, regretfully, we're having to celebrate the anniversary of his death. There have been young people across the country that have done things, I think, that stand out on the dream of Martin Luther King. One young man that I have in mind is a person that we here in Oklahoma City, have had an opportunity to be around. He's written a song. He's taken his talent and done the very best that he could do. Those of you out there that are listening to KBYE 890, the Clara Luper radio show, I want you to do me that special favor I always ask you. That is to sit back, relax, and to enjoy this song written by a dedicated young man, a young man who has done much because of the fact that Martin Luther King lived. With his death, it has made us all a lot stronger. Martin Luther King means a lot to many. Kenny Freeman wrote this song called The Ultimate Prize. I know that you'll find it just as beautiful as we hear.
The ultimate prize.
Clara Luper radio show, and at this time, I would like to present a young man who is following Martin Luther King's dream, Kenny Freeman.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Luper.
Kenny, You have something to present to me, and I want it. I want all of my flowers while I live. And when I die, all I want you to do is to cry. I want Oklahoma City to cry when Clara Luper dies. I used to say when I was young I didn't want anybody crying. But I want you to cry. So get on you some crying shoes. I'll give a signal. I'll have the people to give a signal. It's not crying time. And I want my students at John Marshall High School who made such good grades on their tests to cry. Cry, baby, cry. Yes, I would like my presentation.
Miss Luper, when we had this record pressed, we had 100 special copies pressed. These 100 copies are printed in the color of gold. We saved these copies back for those special people that we wanted to have a special copy of my first recording release. So, Miss Luper, I would like to present to you this gold copy of the Ultimate Prize.
Well, I accept this on behalf of the Shepherd family. You know, I came from a family. My daddy, somebody told him that all black people could sing. And one Sunday he made my sisters, Onita, Hazel, and I sing. I shall never forget that song. It was at the Pilgrim Baptist Church in Hockman, Oklahoma. We sang, "Take a Stand," and the people took a stand and walked out of the church. Now I have a gold record. Clara Luper reporting, and thank you so very kindly. Martin Luther King's birthday is being celebrated all over this country. I've had the opportunity, and thanks to all of you, to participate in a large number of celebrations. I've had the opportunity to make a movie known as Brother President that is being shown. As I say our young people, those are our people. They come out of our schools, our homes, our environment, and our church. In some way, I believe that we are responsible for those young people. And I have so much respect for the people that work at Berry House, that work with open arms and open hearts of those young people that have done what so many of us have done, have made mistakes. But what is life anyway? What is life except some mistakes? Saul made a mistake, but one day he was on a road and he was able to change. Oh, everybody you see have made a mistake. And I would like to introduce to my radio audience the young man that made it possible. One of my dear beloved students. And listen at him. What is your name?
My name is Bruce May, Miss Luper. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm surrounded with two young men, Bruce May, and your name?
My name is Kurt Rule, Miss Luper. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I'm just so happy to have both of you here. First, I want you to tell me why young men with your educational background and qualifications, why would you work at Berry House, Bruce?
Miss Luper, when I was coming up, there was just so many things going on in Oklahoma City, and I just felt that by me working with kids, I would be able to help the youth in Oklahoma City be better. You know, there were a lot of trying times at John Marshall when I was there, and I just thought that that was the way I should go. That was the way I should plan my future, to try to help those coming out through high school be better.
Why did you decide to work with the young people?
Well, Miss Luper, I've worked with youth since my 4 or 5 years in college, and working in the Berry House just seemed another way that I could continue what I'd been doing for the last 4 years, working camps, working with kids that have been in trouble, hoping that at least one, I could reach one kid that he might not go out and do the same thing, might change his life.
Oh, I like that because my favorite song, if I can just help one person, then my living will not be in vain. I know you have the responsibility of planning programs at Berry House. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, Miss Luper.
Well, what kind of program did you plan for Martin Luther King's week's celebration?
Okay, Miss Luper, what happened was we had a very energetic young lady named Bernadette Craig who wanted to put together something that the kids would remember Dr. Martin Luther King by. She put the program together. She wanted a guest speaker, and you were the only person I could think of at the time that could pull this off and get my kids interested in Dr. King and let them know what he was all about. I had all the staff involved in the program. I've had some of the residents involved in the program. And with you being there, that made it just that much better.
I like that. I really like that. But there were some more great speakers there. two or three others that I really enjoyed. Just why don't you just take me through the entire program?
Okay, Miss Luper, there were some skits done by some of the residents there. Raymond Speaks played a kid as Tommy, and we had Melvin Marable play Pops. We've had speeches presented by Herman Woodfork. There were speeches made by Rob Neal and Joyce Corsi. There were a song sung by Herman Woodfork, How Can I Say Goodbye to Yesterday? And that was a great song, Miss Luper. I'm pretty sure it was very touching when
It was very touching.
when you heard that song. It touched everybody at the time. There were black profiles presented by Lawrence Billups, and Kurt Rule to my left here presented a profile. We had a Reverend Terry Turner do an outstanding speech on love. And we had a Reverend Samuel Craig there who also did a very good speech.
Well, I wonder, did the directors attend this, or was it just for a small group?
Oh no, Miss Luper. There was a lot of support from the Juvenile Bureau. Our director, Mr. Ray Beachy, was there. Our superintendent, Mr. Dean Asklin, was there. Assistant Superintendent Greg Bivens was there. Another assistant superintendent Doris Stevenson was there. We just had a lot of people come down from administration to support us for this program.
Well, I heard something that was very encouraging. Never before had I heard the director compliment the staff the way your director complimented you, both of you, and the staff. And he told you that any time you all got ready to have a program that had some educational and moral substance to it, that you were free to do it.
Oh, most definitely, Ms. Luper. They've been quite supportive of the staff and some of the activities we have planned. We were talking about Mr. Mims here earlier from Urban League. He's going to be with us, hopefully, during Black History Week. So we've got some other things planned, and he's going to be there for that, hopefully.
Oh, well, I hope that he will be there for that. What did you think of the program?
Well, Miss Luper, I was really encouraged by the program. I wasn't sure how it would be pulled off when it was first introduced to me. But as things came together, I was pleasantly surprised on how well it went off, how well the kids, they sat for 2 hours, and it's hard to get anybody to sit for 2 hours. But they listened intently, and I believe that they definitely had a much better understanding of who Dr. King was and what is going on now.
Well, what was the reaction after the program?
Well, very encouraging. The kids were all supportive. They were very congratulatory of those who participated in the program. As you pointed out, the director said that we can have a program such as this at any time we want to. It was very positive all the way around.
What reaction did you get?
Oh, Miss Luke, my kids are still excited about the fact that you were there. Everybody's been talking about it. I know Miss Shirley Durrell Daniels heard about our program, and I think a couple of other county commissioners heard about it. I know Judge Brown, who is over the entire Juvenile Bureau there, heard about it. So everybody's still excited about it, and they're still talking about Miss Luper coming to the Oklahoma County Juvenile Bureau.
I'm part of that bureau. I want you to know, and I want the young people out there to know one thing, that I love them, and it's nothing in the world that I would not do to help them. And I think this is a joy of living, to be able to look through the artificial barriers of color, of race, of religion, and just to enjoy life. One thing I admire flowers. They come in different colors: red, white, blue, green. And then when I look at humanity, I just know that we are all God's flowers, coming in all colors. I'll be with you in just a minute, because I do have a presentation that I want you to hear. Some of you have called me about you need a house. But then I want you to know that we do have some houses on our list today. If you would like to rent a house, I would like for you to call 424-3790. Or you can call 424-3949. Now I'll switch you to Langston University, and then I'll be back with something very special for you.
Clara, as we enter 1988, I'd like to let you know that Langston University has opened its doors for enrollment, and classes have started at the university, and that our football program, Clara, is driving and making steps, I think, in the direction of improving for the 88 season. And Clara, there's a lot of room for improvement because we finished our 1987 season, as you and most of the fans know, not winning a single ball game. We had a very young squad. We had some key injuries that occurred at the beginning of the season, the very first game, in the offensive and defensive line that basically destroyed our season. And what the coaching staff and I have been doing, Clara, since the end of our season is our recruiting. And we have recruited in 14 junior college ball players into our program for this spring. And those young men are already on campus and preparing to go through spring football practice with us. And Clara, these young men in our program with the returning ball players coming back healthy, and also with the signing of 10 other junior college ball players for this coming August, we certainly do feel like we will return Langston University to its rightful state football-wise, and that is have a winning season for 1988. Clara, also I'd like to announce that this coming Monday, Langston University will be paying its respects to the Reverend Martin Luther King in a memorial service on Monday at 11 a.m. in the I.W. Young Auditorium. The memorial message will be delivered by Reverend Lawrence Lakey, Executive Director of the Tulsa Urban League. And Clara, I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you so very kindly. And Langston University better win some football games this year. It's good to make excuses, but once again, excuses are good for the wastebasket. So those of you that are out to Langston University, we want a football team. And I don't want you calling up here next year talking about you won 0 games. You better get up and win some games because all of the young people are the same, in the same age bracket and what have you. Rosie's Restaurant in Oklahoma City selling that good old soul food located at 217 Northwest 23rd Street. The telephone number is 521-9316. You can eat Sunday and you can really eat soul food. Those of you that love it, go eat it. I have a thank you note from Mr. Carlos Williams. He would like to thank you for remembering him during the death of his brother. This comes from Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Williams. You should be contacted because of Miss Black, Oklahoma. Now, all contestants must be 18 by December 1988, which means that if you're 17, if you're 18 by December 1988, you may participate, and if you're not over 25 years old, contact me. My telephone number is 424-3949, and I appreciate your contacting me. Now, what I've done, I have sent a notice to all of the schools. Now, be sure and go into your school and ask your principal, your counselor, about Miss Black, Oklahoma. They have over $3,000 in prizes and scholarships. The Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant will be on May 7th, but preparations are now being made, and you better register at once. Soul Bazaar time in Oklahoma City is April 29th and 30th, and certainly we expect you to be there. Soul Bazaar will be at the Merritt Convention Center. This is a 19th year. Boy, we've been in business a long time. The final portion of this program will be in memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There are some questions that must be answered. And I've invited you, Kurt, here to answer the question. Why a holiday for Martin Luther King Jr.?
Well, Miss Luper, we are here today to honor an American hero, a man who devoted his life to bringing freedom to millions of Americans. Not freedom from slavery or unjust imprisonment, but freedom to enjoy the rights given to each man and woman by God and those of this country. The man is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he would have celebrated his 59th birthday this month. However, the very life that Dr. King devoted his life to required his life from him 20 years ago. This country has many ways of celebrating their heroes, honoring them, by giving their names to streets or important buildings, making statues of them, or putting their images on stamps or coins, perhaps even giving them a medal for bravery or for long suffering. But there is one way that America honors its heroes that seems to unite like no other, and that is to give a certain individual a national holiday. This has only been done one other time, and that was for the first president of the United States, George Washington. The man we are honoring today also has a national holiday set aside for him. Dr. King was given a day by Congress celebrating the third Monday of each January to be set aside for him in honor of his life and what he stood for. It was not an easy task to get a national holiday set aside for Dr. King. Efforts were begun shortly after his death in 1968. However, much opposition was met in Congress. The campaign was then taken back to America, back to the grassroots of this country, its people. Petitions were passed, marches were made, speeches were made, until enough support was raised that Congress in 1983 passed the law for Dr. King's Day, which we'll celebrate this coming Monday. Now, many people would look at this day as just another 3-day holiday, another day off of school. And if so, then it can be said that the honor that this country has given to Dr. King is very trivial, for it's not the way I believe it should be celebrated or the way Dr. King should be remembered. I ask and challenge those people that are listening in this radio station today that you take a moment Monday to not focus on yourself, but to focus on someone else. To remember that they have the same rights as you, that we are all created equal. I believe if you do this, that you will be giving Dr. King an honor, and you will be giving him even more of an honor than celebrating a holiday. Just not to focus on yourself, to focus on someone else, and to know that they are equal, that we are all equal, no matter your color, your age, or your appearance. Treat each man the same. Ms. Luper, I appreciate allowing me to be on the radio today and deliver the part that I gave the other day.
You appreciate it. I'm honored. I don't know what to say. But in the words of my grandmother, I would just like to say thank you. Bruce?
Yes, Ms. Luper, I would like to take this time to personally again thank our director, Mr. Ray Beachy, for the opportunity of putting on a Martin Luther King celebration in our detention center. I think it's very important that the kids nowadays understand what Dr. King was about and what he was trying to accomplish when he was alive. I just feel that sometimes the kids don't really understand what the dream is about, and it tends to fade away. But hopefully with the type of programs that we have for our kids at the detention center, the dream will live on.
The dream must live on. Thank you. I would like to join in saying thanks for giving me the opportunity to see our young people at Berry House. I do hope that you will invite me back. And speaking of the Clara Luper radio show, I would like to thank you that are so kind to visit with me each week. I want you to know that I'll be back on the air next Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., and I want you to be with me. On Monday, between 11:30 and 12, from 11:30 and 12, I will be a guest on the KTOK radio show. I would like for you to join me from 11:30 to 12 o'clock on next Monday. Monday evening, I will have the opportunity to see my brothers in El Reno, Oklahoma, at the Federal Penitentiary. I'm looking forward to being your speaker. You have given me the opportunity to speak across the highway and then in the main Federal Penitentiary. I am very grateful to Mrs. Letty Ruth Hunter, Mrs. Lurks, who will be going with me along with my husband, C.P. Wilson, to El Reno. We are looking forward to seeing all of you. I have a special announcement from Nancy Davis. Nancy is requiring all of the members of the Amigos Club to meet at my house tonight at exactly 6:30. Here's Shelley with the announcement.
The sports scores for Friday, January the 16th are as follows. UConn over Putnam West 77 to 76 in 2 overtimes. Millwood defeated Bowley 96 to 52 with the leading scores from Millwood. Ernie Morgan with 19 points, Michael Parks with 15, and Terry Evans and Marlon Edwards both with 12. The Vikings of Northeast defeated the Grant Generals in a score of 51 to 39. The leading scorers from Northeast were Jimmy Bullock with 17 points, Tim Jones with 15, and Rayvon Williams with 9. Star Spencer and John Marshall had a very unusual game with the score ending 19 to 17. The leading scorers in Star Spencer were Corey Cornish with 6 points, Michael Booker and Ronald Leggins both with 4 points each. In the girls' game, Millwood defeated Bowley 45 to 43 with the leading scorers from Millwood, Michelle McElwee with 17, Christy Jordan with 16, and Vicky Smallwood with 7. Northeast, the Lady Vikings also defeated the Grant Generals in a score of 50 to 24, and the leading scorers from Northeast are Faye Meeks with 12 points, Sheris Harris and Marcina DeGrate each with 10 points, and those are the sports scores.
Thank you, Merrill. Shelley.
Shelley's a cheerleader.
Shelley.
That's how she knows so much about the sports.
You enjoy the sports, don't you, Shelley?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
fantastic.
Calvin, I just want to know. I want to look at you. Now, I've been reading what the Greeks said about blacks. And
Well, Mom, you can look at me real good. I want you to not only look at my beautiful black face, but I want you to look at my thighs. I want you to look at some thighs that come not from Oklahoma City, St. Anthony Hospital, but from the far side of the water. I got some African thighs. I got some of the biggest, prettiest thighs you ever seen.
Now, okay, speaking about your thighs, I want to know what did the Greeks say about other black thighs?
Well, the Greek gave all black folk a compliment, and he realizes that the better athletes, he says, are black because of our thighs, because of the slave owner's inbreeding or his breeding techniques. But then I think that the Greek left out something that all of us that are aware of know, and that is that it's very beautiful to be black, but it's even more beautiful to be born. And that if somebody could put us together and to make a more beautiful package than he could a human being, then it would have already been done. The Greek let his lips overtalk his hips finally, and I think it's only because of the fact that he missed out on something about breeding. He forgot a thing in there called love, be it love of necessity.
But he forgot that not only did the black babies come from black fathers and black mothers, some of them came from white mothers and white fathers.
Well, you're right there, Mom. You're right now. The
Greek
Greek not only, he brought that up. Now, he didn't forget about the white involvement. I think this is where the Greek hopes to find.
He didn't give the whites any credit for being great athletes.
But he gave it in a roundabout way. I think that the Greek was trying to say that the black, because of his thighs, will be the better athlete. But because of the white inbreeding, that he may be able to become a coach one day.
Well, then,
in the
and
National
looking at
Football
thighs
League.
all over this country,
I think you'd make a good athlete, Mom.
I see no difference between black thighs and white thighs as far as size. So the Greek will have to come up with something else.
I think it's the thing called the springboard technique and the thing called speed. Because of the fact. Because Phil is saying something in there because he has white thighs, but his white thighs aren't as big as my black thighs. And if his white thigh is as big as my black thigh, then we really could have an exciting, this might be the thing that we need to do here in Oklahoma City. If we get together a thigh measuring contest, and I bet you that we would have something more exciting than Remington Park, something more exciting than the St. Louis Cardinals moving to Phoenix. If we had the right thighs in Oklahoma City, we could have us a professional football team here. And you know what, Mom? I think that a little later on, I'm going to have my thighs measured. And if it comes up to, say, a Tony Dorsett or a Pistol Pete, different field size thighs, then I'm going to let my thighs go into professional sport and see if one of these thighs can make $1 million. What about your thighs out there, those of you that are listening to the Clara Luper radio show here on KBYE?
Well, I know
Do you have NFL thighs?
Well, I know one thing. CBS had better do one thing. CBS better watch. And speaking of CBS in Oklahoma City, we started looking at the thighs that were out to CBS here in Oklahoma City, and that's Channel 9. And I would like to ask the question, how many black thighs have any kind of position at CBS in Oklahoma City? Maybe I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write CBS and tell them what I think. And in place of looking at CBS, I'm going to turn to NBC, ABC, CNN. And if all the black people would do that, CBS would be in some serious trouble.
The American dream,
The
the American
American
dream is much more important than race, color, the size you
But
are,
the man is
midget or
70 years
fidget.
old. He's 70 years old.
But he's shared in the American dream. I
But
think
then we
those
have
of
to
us
count.
between the ages of 5 and 75 and 95, we've all shared in helping to make our country a better place. The Greek just said something that's probably been on the back of his mind for a long time.
Well, he better
Who
keep
knows?
it on the back of his mind.
It
He
may
won't
be
do it
right.
on the air. Look
But
here,
then-
Calvin, what
yes.
I'm alarmed about.
Don't be
is
alarmed,
what-
Mama.
I am alarmed. I am upset because, not of the thighs, because everybody know that's the biggest story that's ever been told. And
Well, you're
I would
looking
be
at my
proud.
thighs saying that.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
okay. Now, what I am saying is that so many black people themselves that are hard on black women. And when I read the caliber of story that was written by a local black newspaper against a black woman that has changed the policies of our county, it made me sick inside. And I would like for those of you, and many of you have called me and said you did not like the way the story was written about our county commissioner, Shirley Darrell. Call Russell Perry and let Russell Perry know exactly how you feel, because I've got to listen to the American Dream.
Now,
I've
the
got
American
to hear it.
Dream
By Martin Luther
by
King.
Martin Luther King Jr. We recently, yesterday was his birthday, but Monday we will celebrate his holiday. The American Dream, Martin Luther King.
America is essentially a dream. It is a dream of a land where men of all races, of all nationalities, and of all creeds can live together as brothers. The substance of the dream is expressed in these profound words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. One of the first things we notice in this dream is its amazing universalism. It does not say some men, but it says all men. It doesn't say it doesn't say all white men, but it says all men, which includes black men. It doesn't say all Gentiles, but it says all men, which includes Jews. It doesn't say all Protestants, but it says all men, which includes Catholics. That is something else that we notice in this dream, which is one of the things that distinguishes democracy and our form of government with other totalitarian systems. It says that there are certain basic rights that are neither conferred by nor derived from the state. In order to discover where they came from, it is necessary to move back behind the dim mist of eternity. They are God-given. Very seldom.
With the God-given rights, this is Clara Luper saying that our senior citizens have the right to live. And whoever destroyed the life of Miss Lula Mae Brooks last night, why don't you be a man and come out and confess? I appeal to you at this time to look at your hands. And on this Martin Luther King's Day celebration, join me in saying what my grandmother taught me to say. with these black hands, and yours may be white, brown, or red. I will not steal anything from anybody. I will not destroy anybody. But I will love everybody. And from all of us here at KBYE on the Clara Luper radio show, we say to you, happy
Martin Luther King holiday.
Clara Luper reporting, and I do love you. Bye-bye.
You're tuned into the Southwest Radio Voice of Religion, KBYE, AM 890, Oklahoma City. Phil Rector with you, 3 o'clock on a